It's an honor to be here. We were just passing through Seoul on the way to Beijing for a couple more meetings there. We're working on we have an online master's program that, as Dr. Kang referenced, we're trying to collaborate and bring more students from other countries to UF at a discounted tuition and collaborate in ways that we can both to leverage each other's assets and tools. Seoul National's one of the best in the world at sport management. He graduated from here. We have another faculty member, Dr. Lee's graduated from here. YK is obviously a Seoul National graduate and also a Gator, Florida Gator. So Florida has a very good program. One of the new programs we created is this program called Athlete Development. And it's a fairly new construct that I think it makes sense. I think we all know what this is, but we've never really called it Athlete Development. So the handout you have, I'll get to in a few slides here, I think will help make sense of what it is we do with this, the research and the instruction. So we offer a master's degree that leads to a certification from an organization called PADS, Professional Association of Athlete Development Specialists, out of New York City. PADS is a conglomerate of all the leagues. So the only foreign leagues, the National Rugby League, the PGA, NCAA, NBA, NFL, all the leagues get together and they create professional development opportunities and knowledge dissemination. And we're the only partner they have right now that certifies athlete development specialists when you go through our master's. And this is the curriculum we actually teach. So I want to talk today about what it is and why it's important. I think this is very much a U.S. problem. I'd like to hear from you guys how much of a problem is it in your country. I mean, the diversity of knowledge in this room right here, I don't think I've ever been in a room with this many countries, this many leaders from sports from around the world. And I mean, what an amazing opportunity. And I apologize, I'm hot. The air's not working, so I took the coat off. I'll do the best I can. I'm sorry, I'm not dressed for the part. But so I hope to hear from you in your countries. Do athletes get treated and developed holistically, where the athlete's the center of the model, so we don't exploit athletes. They have opportunities when their life ends, the life in sports ends, and there's life after sports. In the U.S., it's becoming a very big problem because of over-identified, engulfed athletes. And if you're not a highly identified athlete now, it's almost impossible to even play at the collegiate level in the United States. You end up engulfing that. In the U.S., we have an advantage that we have college sports as one of the primary pathways to professional sports. So you have to get an education. It's non-negotiable. Or you at least have to go to school. You don't have to get an education. And that's kind of the differentiation. And a lot of these students are taking majors that they don't want to take. They're not really getting a lot of value of it. And by the time they reach the end of their careers and they don't make it professional, it's just a fraction of them get to play. Even if they get drafted, very few will actually make. So 9 guys on our baseball team just won the national championship. 9 guys got drafted by Major League Baseball at the conclusion of the season. And one of those guys will play Major League Baseball, even the first round guy. And that guy might not even play for very long. Most of them didn't make a lot of money in their signing bonuses. So they have another 4 years, 5 years of professional baseball. But eventually, they're going to be 24, 25, 26, and they have to get on with their life. And are they prepared? And that's basically the essence of what athlete development's about, is creating programs that lead to holistic athlete-centered development for lifelong opportunities. So it's really about athlete development. There's 2 sides. There's player development, which is everyone understands, that's performance. And then there's personal development. And I want to spend most of my time today talking about personal development. So I like to call this, the literature doesn't call it the lost opportunities effect. I call it the lost opportunities effect. So why do we need personal development programming? Athletes are chosen for a reason. They're experts, skills in their sports. And that's why they're recruited, identified early, put on a pathway to elite talent development. And some of them make it, some of them don't. And they go back and they play recreational or low level. Some play forever, they stay healthy and active, that's great. But after all that process, you're doing time and energy and tasks and skills. So if you want to create skills in something, you have to do those skills. And there's that 10,000 hour rule that's around, which is 10,000 hours plus or minus 10,000 hours. it's not a precise estimate, but if you want to be good at something, you have to do it. And athletes are very good at being athletes. So then they lose all these opportunities to be human beings, to go to school, to learn, to have relationships, to network, to learn different skills in their jobs and those kind of things. And so because athletes spend so much of their time on their sport at an early age, this creates a situation in which there's not been time allocated to acquiring interest or skills in other areas. So this was around 2009, a group of sports psychologists in this journal started to discuss this. And it's really, most of it is from the sports psychology literature, but it's being kind of absorbed by the sport management faculty and academics to put some meat on this idea and start to transition into a profession that people can get skills in this and help athletes. And then also developmental opportunities. You know, there's developmental windows for sports. We know that. You want to learn to throw, there's a certain window and you're optimally capable of throwing or kicking or jumping. And if you lose those opportunities, it's the same thing with any other skill. Social skills, personal skills, emotional skills. And if athletes are too busy being athletes, well, they lose that opportunity to be productive human beings and productive citizens in their society. So why we need it, if we say we do, what is it? So personal excellence, a good definitions here in the middle. Achievement of developmentally appropriate tasks across the length of one's life that lead to acquisition of personal qualities and abilities that contribute to optimal health and well-being. So very broad. You think of just basic stuff you need to be well and have an optimal developmental experience as a youth especially. So it's a fairly broad opportunity, but it all starts with these developmentally appropriate tasks. So it's a human development function of the lifespan. These authors contend if high-level sport is delivered appropriately in a developmentally appropriate manner, that performance excellence and personal excellence are actually can happen at the same time. So again, if you manage sport correctly, you can make this happen, according to these authors. And we're starting to create measures that, I'll get to this at the end, but ideally we can create measures and evaluate this and actually say, yes, we did meet these guidelines and tasks, and these athletes are developed holistically. And there are costs. I mentioned these already. Exceptional demands placed on athletes, challenge age-appropriate physical, intellectual, social, and emotional development. Identity being the most probably critical and the biggest culprit in most of this for athletes. But transitions, especially transitions out of sport, for us, it's very difficult. Now we're getting into mental health problems. I don't know in your countries how much that happens, but it's a very, very challenging time in the life of an athlete. The first 3 to 6 months after sports, they just spent, the last 20 years committed to this sport was their life, their whole identity engulfed it. And then coping, we see a lot of mental health issues in the United States. And then one of our biggest problems, especially college and pro athletes, is athletes nowadays live in a bubble. It's a bubble that is protected and managed. I don't know if it's like this in every country, but our athletes can depend on somebody else to do just about everything for them. They can manage their money, manage their time, manage their career, their investments, their education. They don't have to think, they don't have to do anything. Our students can't even register for classes. Something that simple. You go to university and you need to register for your class. They don't know how to register for classes because somebody does it for them. We have a whole team of people, tutors, help them study. They don't even have to learn how to study. They can just go call a tutor and they'll teach you what you need to know. You don't even have to go to class a lot of times because a lot of the times these tutors can plug in these holes. So there's an over-dependence on personal management. You just don't have skills to manage your own personal life after a while. And then definitely career planning, because you spend all this time planning a career in sports. When that doesn't work out, there's no plan B. So this, if you go just to a basic life skills definition from the World Health Organization, this is a lot of times what we call these programs, life skills programs in the United States. So skills would be lifelong value, skills that address whole person issues, or psychological, emotional, social, moral, intellectual. If you, in the developing world, this term comes from that vernacular, that ecosystem, is that individuals that have, difficult times achieving opportunities like education, say at the basic level, nutrition, safety, life free from violence, they lose opportunities to gain personal skills that are of lifelong value. So we go in and create programming and intervene and provide these kids. So sport for development opportunities are probably the most familiar for us. Kids maybe go to an after-school program or some summer camp, and they have a structured, safe environment, and they learn some life skills that they can apply to their everyday life. So this definition is excellent, I think. Abilities for adaptive and positive behavior that enable individuals to deal effectively with the demands and challenges of everyday life. And the three buckets that they put them in is really interesting. Cognitive skills, personal skills, and interpersonal skills. Right? So athletes need these. If you take it out to an extreme, I'm not at all comparing an athlete's life, an elite athlete, or even just a competitive athlete that is not elite, with someone in a third world country, a developing country that is, having trouble eating at the end of the day. But if you make the extension, obviously there's no comparison whatsoever, but if you make the extension on the idea of the ability that both of those groups of people are being exploited and disadvantaged and marginalized, and they both need life skills. They both need life skills because one is overemphasizing their sports to help somebody else, primarily their organization, their coach, and themselves, because they see that as a long opportunity to make a lot of money playing sports. We know that. And it's a lot of fun. I've never met an athlete that at the end of their career, they played in the NBA, NFL, Major League Baseball, and they're bitter, and they're upset. They say, boy, that coach, I didn't like him, or I didn't get paid. Like our college football guys, if you're familiar with the US system, it's a $1 billion industry, college football. These are kids, 18 to 20-year-old kids playing, not football, right? American football. And we have, our stadium, there's 90,000 seats. It sells out every game. It's just this amazing American cultural phenomenon. And the players don't make any money. They get a scholarship. And the coaches are millionaires. Our coach makes $4 million a year salary. Our football coach. Our assistant coaches make $1 million a year. Our president makes less. The university president makes less than 3 of the coaches on the football team. Our baseball coach this year, non-revenue sport, $1.2 million salary. Baseball coach. Amazing. And the kids make nothing. Scholarship. So I've never met a guy though that goes through that and they go back and say, boy, I wish I would, if I had a chance to do it again, I would do it again. 100%, no question about it. I don't care. Even if the system's not perfect, I would never give up that opportunity. And those of you that have been athletes, I think you all agree. Even if you get hurt, get injured, or lose opportunities, it could change your whole life. But no athletes ever regret it. So if that's the reality we live in as sport managers, they're not going to regret this. They're there, good or bad. They're going to be in the system. So we have to manage a system that treats them holistic development as a priority. And I'll tell you the secret. This kind of makes sense. It's kind of like, no kidding, guy. Why'd you come all this way to tell us this? We know this. But if you make the link, if you could start to evaluate this and measure it, and you could show that personal development affects player performance, on-field, on-court performance. If you can make that link, then more people buy in. And it's an anecdotal relationship right now, but if we could start to prove this or support this and prove it, support it scientifically, I think we can get to where all models are athlete-centered models. And then more athletes are having a very wonderful experience in staying healthy, safe, and living a life after sports that they're proud of and never regret for a moment that they ever played their sport. So there's more of this. This is kind of the review of the literature that's out there on athlete development. But sport, yes, we all agree, sport can teach life skills. Those of us that play, we know it's an amazing teacher. Humbleness, embarrassment, hard work. And you can just name all the characteristics of sport. And it's hard to prove this. We don't really know scientifically, we don't prove it. But those of you who played, you know. I'm on time now, all the time. Not like my colleague here, Dr. No-Show Co. Dr. Co's 10 minutes late for everything. So we tell him the meetings are always 10 minutes earlier than they are. And I had a baseball coach once in college. I was right on time. The next morning, apparently he thought I was 1 minute late. The next morning I ran until I threw up. It was the last time I was ever late. Every time I was there, 15 minutes early for the rest of my life. These days, just a small example. But you learn a lot of life skills through sports. But also sport can impede the development of life skills as well. So there's this trade-off, this paradox, and in sports this paradox. There's a lot of paradoxes in sport. This is just one example of sport. So if we can get to a point where you have an athlete-centered sports model, and it's on 146, that Miller-Kerr article I mentioned, performance excellence is made possible only through personal excellence. If you can establish that relationship, and more people, now coaches buy in. And the coaches are the most powerful cog in the machine in our country. Without coaches buy-in, you really don't have much help. It's very difficult to affect change without a coach saying, okay. So if you can establish this relationship, personal excellence leads to performance excellence. Then you have the ability to get the resources you need to create great programming to help these young kids that don't have a choice. They don't have a choice. They have to do exactly what the system demands of them and what their coach demands of them. So in youth sports in the U.S., there is some research on this that it does work. Personal excellence does help performance, but at the more elite levels, it's more difficult. So you need the alignment. The underlying piece there is the main takeaway. You need alignment of assistant coaches, administrators, parents, and we call it the entourage in pro sports, the people around the athlete, the brother, the cousin, the friends, the people that are just supporters of the athlete need to be on board. So they're the most, the professional, I should say, professional sports. Athlete and the sport group. So actually, we're learning in professional sports, the wife of a male athlete, the wife is one of the most important supporters, variables in that relationship. If you can get to the spouse of an athlete, you can make a lot of difference in that athlete's life. And some of their the people that run with them, we call them entourage. It's not an official term, but it's just kind of what we would call them in a I don't know, you guys watch HBO? You watch Ballers? You watch Ballers? The financial advisor in Miami, it's The Rock, the guy that right now. So that you can see those athletes all have these guys around them and telling them what to do. I've asked people that work directly with professional athletes how true that is. Is that an accurate portrayal? I say, yeah, some of it's exaggerated, but a lot of that is very, very accurate. That's how professional players act. That's how they interact with people. Their families are dependent on them. Force them, ask them to do things that are really just not the right thing to do for that person. So if you have an athlete-centered model, athletes can learn this in the sport as part of the experience. Responsibility, decision-making, moral reasoning, character, goal setting. So we all know that. I think we all assume sports can teach this. But it's not automatic. It's not automatic. In our country, youth sports especially, kids sports, we have coaches for youth sports that have no training whatsoever. Majority of kids play for a coach that has no training. It's usually a parent who volunteered, maybe played the sport, maybe didn't. And they affect a lot of harm. They take the kids' motivation away. They don't always create fun environments. There's some amazing, if you watch Friday Night Tykes, have you seen that on Netflix? Friday Night Tykes, anyone seen that? No? Man. Disgusting show. You've seen it? It's tackle football, little guys, 10 years old. It's so sad. I've only seen a few episodes. It makes me angry to see these kids just hurting each other. Just the horrible coaching and the adult interventions and how adult-centered it is, not child-centered and athlete-centered. So we need people like us that are managing sport. We call them athlete development specialists. But anyone that's a sport manager that is around an athlete, if you affect athlete policy, if you affect athlete decision-making and well-being, safety, health, medical, and you need training and understanding how to develop an athlete with them at the center of the ecosystem, not on the outer layers of the ecosystem. So this model I'm going to talk about that's in front of you is this research we've done the last couple of years, is an athlete-centered model for athlete development. So the idea, we call it athlete development literacy. So when I mentioned this, that athletes and their supporters need preventative interventions to be better aware of time demands. So what this is unique about this is it doesn't shift it on. So we're training people like yourself that work with athletes. What information you need to know, how to disseminate it, why it's important, the theories that predict future behavior and success. But this model is unique in that it's really up to the athlete. You can measure this in an athlete. How literate are you?